What's up, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of the Duenkel Productions Podcast. And we have back-to-back episodes of featuring people named Zach on the show. Last night, we had my boy Zach Kramer join us. Today, I should say, it's still late out. We got my boy Zachary Bruzawa joining us. This is Zach's second time on the show. Zach, how are you, buddy?
Doing well, brother. How you doing? How you living?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. You know, it's a nice day outside.
Gorgeous outside.
Decided to do a little sitting outside for this episode, man. First time out here, working out pretty well. But, Zach, you know there's a lot of college football this weekend and some really good college football games. So let's start out with one of them that I think is going to be the game of the weekend. Let's talk about Florida, Georgia. What's your prediction?
I'm going with Georgia. I think they've got an established run game. I don't know how Florida's going to be able to stop them. I mean, Florida's explosive too, but I think Georgia's just got the edge. I really just believe Georgia's got the edge over that team. Their defense looks pretty good from what I've seen so far from Georgia. Haven't let up too many points. I mean, but I really think Georgia, their run game is going to be the difference there, and I think they're going to get them.
See, I've been going back and forth on this one all week. I really like Florida. I really like Georgia. I think they're two great teams. I think probably the winner of this game is obviously for the SEC East title pretty much. Whoever wins this game will probably make that SEC title game against what looks to be right now Alabama. I like Georgia as well, though. I think this is going to be a really good game. I think the difference for me is I believe Dan Mullen can't coach the first half, if I'm not mistaken. I think I will put something. I'll put something on the screen or whatnot if he's coaching or not. But I think that's going to be a big deal. I also think Georgia's defense is so good. I think you're really going to see it on display. Obviously, you talk about Florida's offense. They got a high-powered offense, but Georgia's no joke. They got that kid Stetson Bennett. I really like him. Good young quarterback. I think he's only going to continue to get better as this year is going to go along. I like Georgia in a close football game here. I'm going to say probably 30-27 dogs in this one. But let's shift to this now, Zach. Saturday night, Clemson at Notre Dame without Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence will not play for the Clemson Tigers. Who you got?
I don't think – I mean, from what I saw last week when they were playing Boston College, yeah, came back. That backup, he played all right. He's no Trevor Lawrence, obviously, right. But he did fair. I mean, he came in, he managed the game for him. He made a couple crucial throws, I think, but – man, Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's not Boston College. Obviously, I mean, I don't want to call a blowout because I know Clemson's defense is going to show up, obviously, and they're going to show out. And I know they got all those stars on that team still, but I think I got to go Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's just a little too good not to win this game. I'm sorry, against Clemson. I think Notre Dame's they play well on both sides of the ball. I mean, they run good pace. Obviously Clemson's going to be able to hold them to below their average, but I mean, what I'd expect to see a low-scoring game. Either I'd honestly expect to see a low-scoring game between the two, or Notre Dame just probably win by 2 touchdowns.
Really?
I'm going to say 17-13 Notre Dame, or it's going to be like 28-10 Notre Dame.
See, I see a totally different ball game than you do. I think Clemson, man, they're so well coached. I think the coaching matchup in this game, when you look at Dabo Swinney, he's going to have those boys ready to roll. He's going to have them ready to play. I don't see Clemson going down this year. I really don't. I see the only 2 teams I would say that have even a shot to beat Clemson this year are Alabama and Ohio State. Those are the only 2 teams. I think in this football game, I'm going to be honest with you, Trevor Lawrence or no Trevor Lawrence, Clemson wins this one 35-24. And here's why. Clemson last week struggled early. That is to be expected. They're without their quarterback. Obviously you got to prepare a lot differently without Trevor back there with this new kid they got. I like this kid. I saw a lot out of him last week coming back from Boston College. A lot of people were saying that game's over. I was like, it might have been, and I just don't see Clemson looking like that again. Now, do I think the Ohio States or Alabamas could beat them? Yes. I don't think Notre Dame is in that class with the Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson. I would even throw probably Georgia in that mix. I don't think Notre Dame is of that caliber team. Now, I will say this. If Notre Dame, the only way Notre Dame has a hope in this game is if they get out to a fast start. If Clemson gets a lead with the way they have ETN running that football, there's no way. But I think it's going to be an interesting game. But I like Clemson. I don't see them losing to anybody not named Alabama or Ohio State this year. Speaking of the SEC, Texas A&M at South Carolina. South Carolina has defeated Auburn this year. I believe, I'll put that up on the screen if they did or not. But A&M going into South Carolina, Zach, what do you think?
I like that. I like the A&M team. I mean, I know they pulled out a close one last week against Arkansas. I want to say it was like 42-31 or 28 or something. Mm-hmm. But I mean, they got some pretty impressive wins. I mean, they beat Florida. That was 2 or 3 weeks ago. They beat Florida by a field goal. Oh. I mean, I like A&M to win this game. I mean, I think this will be one of those down to the wire ones. I don't think they're just going to come out and just steamroll them. But I know South Carolina's coming off that big loss to LSU. I want to say they just played last week, right? Or that was
South Carolina. LSU got beat badly by Auburn.
That was last week. Oh, yeah, because South Carolina hasn't played in 2 weeks now. They didn't play since like the 24th, I think, I want to say, or 23rd. Yeah. But that last game from when they got beat by LSU, I mean, I expect to see a close one. But Texas A&M, I mean, they're a little bit of a sleeper team because they have some weapons and they move that. They're another team that moves the ball well and just has good clock management. But I like Texas A&M in this one. I'm gonna go 31-27. Texas A&M pulls it out.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of your good points. I think A&M, I think they're a pretty good football team. Obviously, I think they're going to make a pretty good bowl this year. I don't know if they're going to be in like the New Year's Six or whatever they call it. But I like A&M in this game. I like them 34-27, kind of around the same score you had. Obviously, when you talk about road games, they're always going to be close, especially with ranked and non-ranked opponents.
Especially in the SEC too.
Yeah, those are always trap games. I think South Carolina, they've been a real underrated program for a while. I think they've been a lot better in recent years than a lot of people have been talking about. But I think A&M, you talk about Kellen Mond, obviously Jimbo Fisher, they got some talent at the skill positions, and I think that's going to be the difference in this football game. But now let's move to pick number 4. One of the bigger ones of the weekend, I think, too. Michigan at Indiana.
I was waiting for that one, yeah.
Who you got?
Gosh. It's tough because I feel like Indiana really hasn't – I mean, Indiana really, honestly, they beat Penn State. That was impressive. But, I mean, that was also what feels like almost a month ago. I mean, I know it was just 2 or 3 weeks ago, but –
yeah, that was the first week Big Ten came back.
Yeah, and I know Michigan lost that nail-biter to Michigan State. Yep. I mean, they killed Minnesota, blew them out of the water. I'm going to go – I think Michigan's just a little better coached, obviously with Harbaugh there. It's debatable. I mean, 2 good coaches, but I'm gonna pick Michigan on this one. I'm gonna take Michigan with the upset over Indy. I think they just have more than Indiana does, and Indiana, I mean, they beat Penn State. Penn State's a good football team, don't get me wrong, but I think Michigan still got a little more talent on their side of the ball. I think that's what it'll come down to. I'm going to go because Indiana gave up like 35 to Penn State. I'm going to say 45-38 Michigan over Indiana.
Well, Zach, I will say this. Last weekend, I called it. I said Michigan State was going to beat Michigan. And my dad was like, there's no way. I was talking to him on the phone during the game. It was like 7-0 Sparty. And he was like, Michigan's going to blow them out. I'm like, nope, you watch. Sure enough, Michigan ended up losing. Now, in recent years, I will say this is one thing I had context for the audience, especially. Michigan and Indiana have always been very close games. It has never been
one-sided.
It has never been one-sided. It's always been close. Usually Michigan finds a way to squeak it out, and I think that's what's going to happen here. As much as it pains me to say it, I think that Michigan's going to be motivated coming in off that big-time loss to Michigan State last weekend. I think this is going to be a real dogfight, but I like Michigan 31-30. I think this is going to be a very close game. I think this game could go either way, but I just think, like you mentioned, Zach, Michigan just has a little too much with Joe Milton and Ronnie Bell and all those boys. I think that's going to separate them. And the last pick for the Power 5 on Duenkel Productions, the last pick of the weekend, Rutgers at Ohio State.
Ohio State I'm gonna say Ohio State by at least 42 or 49.
Whoa.
I say Justin Fields shouldn't even play in the second half.
Really?
I mean, I know they beat who did they beat? They did beat Michigan State the first game, if I'm not mistaken. But come on, Ohio State. I mean, we saw what they did last week against Penn State. Let's not act like we didn't see anything. Ohio State is legit, and like you had said earlier, they're gonna. I believe truly they're gonna be the team that's gonna test. We're gonna see a Justin Fields and we're gonna see a Trevor Lawrence college football finals. I think even if Clemson loses this week to Notre Dame, like I predict, they're still gonna get in because obviously it's Clemson, but.
Yeah.
I mean, Ohio State, since the Big Ten just started, obviously we haven't seen a lot of games, but I mean, Ohio State blew the brakes off Nebraska. I want to say they put up 52 or 56. And then the last week against Penn State, they put up 38. And it's not like Penn State's a bad football team, but Ohio State should win this one by Justin Fields. Here, I'll just put it into perspective. Justin Fields should be done after the first half is over. They're going to absolutely blow them out of the water. I predict, I'll say 56-10.
Okay. I like it. I'm an Ohio State guy. I like it that you think that way. I'm gonna go Ohio State 45, Rutgers 21 here. I think Rutgers is a little bit better than in years past. I really do. And like we've been talking about, Zach, there's always a trap game or a game once a year where you circle on the calendar where you're like, we should blow this team out the water. And that's for Ohio State. I like 45-21 here. And like I'm saying here, that's a pretty big margin, 24 points. I mean, it's a huge margin. I will say I do like the direction Rutgers is going, but like you were saying, Ohio State, too much talent. Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Julian Fleming, Smith. They got Rutgers. You talk about that defense for Seven Banks, man. This man is coming. He's going to be the next, Denzel Ward, Marshawn Lattimore, and all those boys. It's so hard to even say that this game is going to be close. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than you think, only because sometimes after a big emotional win, you start out a little slow. I could see that happening here. I really could. I think Fields will probably not play the fourth quarter. They'll probably have this thing locked up while within in range to close it out. But like you were saying, Zach, I think Ohio State is definitely a team that can challenge Clemson this year. I think it's them in Alabama. I like Ohio State a little more than Alabama. And
Me
I
too.
think
Yeah.
I think it really what separates is Fields is such a special playmaker. I mean, Mac Jones, got to give that man props. He's having a hell of a season. This is almost like Joe Burrow last year, but you talk about Fields and Lawrence, they are clearly the two best, probably I would say, players in college football.
That's
Fields,
fair. Yeah.
Fields
I
and
I
Lawrence.
definitely agree with that.
And I think they're going to be 2 top 5 picks, maybe 1, 2 I could see in the NFL draft. But no, Ohio State, they're going to win this game. So just looking back here, we got Zach is taking Georgia, Notre Dame, A&M, Michigan, Ohio State for his Power 5 with Duenkel Productions. I'm taking Georgia, Clemson, A&M, and Michigan and Ohio State. I think we're going to be treated to a really good weekend in college football. I will say this. This definitely has CFB implications. CFP, I mean, college football playoff implications riding on this game. Obviously, you talk about that Notre Dame Clemson game will obviously have implications in the ACC and obviously Georgia, Florida, and the SEC. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is going to be probably the new thing, the Power 5 with Duenkel Productions. We'll have these picks out to you guys Saturday morning before college football. Make sure to check them out. They're going to be awesome. Zach, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure to be on. Love it.
Yes, sir. Make sure you guys follow Zach on Instagram. I'll link it down below. Give him a follow.
Sir.
Ladies, hit him up. You know what to do.
Yes, sir.
You know what to do. But don't forget to like and subscribe. Y'all have a good day. Peace out.